Welcome to another cup of coffee in Dalat, and find out why 10 minutes was enough. Boy, did my video yesterday generate some DMs. Everyone was asking, somewhat incredulously, how did I know, after just 10 minutes of conversation over coffee, that I would one day marry Hung? It sounds impulsive, naive even, but it turns out I'm in good company. Some of the world's most enduring relationships began with a moment of instant clarity. Michael Caine saw the actress Shakira in a coffee commercial on TV and emphatically told a friend, "I'm going to marry her." He tracked her down, and now they've been together for over 50 years. David Bowie met supermodel Iman at a dinner party. He later said, "My attraction to her was immediate and all-encompassing." They married 2 years later and stayed together until his death. George Clooney saw Amal walk into his home with a mutual friend. He turned to a mate and said, "I'm going to marry that girl." They've been married since 2014 and still glow with mutual admiration. David Beckham saw Victoria Adams, also known as Posh Spice, on TV and later said he knew immediately. He met her in person, fell fast, and their marriage has lasted more than 25 years. Matt Damon met Luciana Barroso while she was working behind a bar. He felt something click. 20 years and 4 kids later, they're still going strong. Prince Harry saw Meghan Markle on a friend's Instagram and asked, "Who is that?" When they finally met, he said, "The second I saw her, I knew." These aren't Hollywood myths. They're testimonies to a kind of clarity that bypasses logic. A felt sense that says, "That one, that's home." Now, if this all sounds poetic, don't worry. There's a bit of science to back it up. Modern research suggests that within seconds of meeting someone, our subconscious is doing something remarkable. It's running thousands of micro-calculations. Not with spreadsheets, but with subtle signals. Signals your brain and body have been trained over a lifetime to interpret. Let me walk you through a few of the biggest ones. First up, facial expression mirroring. When two people naturally mirror each other's smiles, eye movements and expressions without even trying, the brain reads it as safety. Not "I like you" safety. Tribal, nervous system safety. We evolved to trust the faces that move like ours. Next, vocal and physiological synchrony. You speak at a similar rhythm. You pause at the same moments. Even your breathing and heart rate can begin to sync. It's called limbic resonance, and it's when our nervous systems start dancing in time. You don't plan it, it just happens, and it feels like ease. Then there's smell. Yes, really. Our bodies can unconsciously detect differences in immune systems through scent, a phenomenon linked to the MHC, or major histocompatibility complex. We don't smell love exactly, but we're often drawn to someone whose immune profile complements ours because it signals strong potential offspring. It's primal, deep, and explains why some people just smell right, even if we can't say why. And finally, attachment familiarity. Sometimes someone just feels like home. Not because they are home, but because their emotional tone, their warmth, steadiness, kindness, echoes the earliest safe connections we had. Maybe a parent, maybe a teacher, whoever it was, your nervous system remembers. And when you meet someone who gives off that same emotional signal, it says, yes, them. And that's what happened with Hung. It wasn't infatuation, it wasn't fantasy, it was a quiet knowing. My nervous system said, you can breathe here. Of course, I doubted myself. Plenty of people tried to plant doubt in me. You've heard the story. Someone told me she was a scammer, that she had no daughter, no home, no dying father, no job, that everything she told me was fiction. I listened, I retreated. But even after I pulled away, something kept calling me back. A voice deeper than reason. A pull I just couldn't explain. Every time we talked, the feeling returned. Not excitement, not drama, just peace. That hum you feel when something's right. Of course, I doubted myself. Others certainly did. After all, how can 10 minutes of conversation lead to a lifelong conviction? But here's the truth. It wasn't just the 10 minutes. It was the years that preceded it. The losses, the longing, the search for something that felt true. It was the quiet, repeated knowing that returned to me even after I tried to walk away. Love, real love, isn't always fireworks. Sometimes it's a soft certainty that makes no intellectual sense, but feels truer than anything you've known. And it all began with one slightly awkward dinner, followed by one extraordinary cup of coffee. So if you're watching this and wondering if your own instincts are worth trusting, maybe they are. Trust doesn't mean naivety. It means doing your due diligence and then having the courage to act on what your heart tells you. We're told to look for red flags, and yes, they matter. But sometimes it's the green flags, the quiet ease, the shared laughter, the mutual curiosity that deserve our attention too. That's what I saw in her. That's why 10 minutes was enough. And that's why I'm still here, still sipping coffee in Dalat, still smiling like a fool who just might have stumbled into something true. Sometimes the universe doesn't shout, it whispers, gently. 10 minutes of honest conversation over coffee with Hung gave me a glimpse of something most people search a lifetime for. And yes, after that conversation, I knew. Not because she dazzled me, because something deep inside of me said, here, stay here. If you've ever had a 10-minute moment that changed everything, I'd love to hear about it. Until next time, stay kind, stay curious, and trust the voice that doesn't shout, but simply knows.